Hello, welcome to Mart's garage. Here's my sedan. I haven't driven it for, I don't know, a couple of weeks or something like that. I haven't noticed a problem while driving, but I think I can see a problem brewing. I don't know if you remember when I had a head gasket failure. I'll insert some pics here. Here you can see where the middle part of the gasket has extruded out and caused a problem. Well, look at this gasket here. I was just sitting here in my chair of contemplation, and I noticed, can you see there, look? That's the middle part of the gasket extruding out. It's like some sort of a plastic interface, and here's the front. Can you see that it looks similar? So that is failing in the same way that the original one failed. And I think these are Best brand. I'll replace the gasket on the other side with I think maybe a Felpro. So at some point, and before I drive the car again, I will have to change this gasket. Yeah, I just noticed that. I wasn't intending to do any work on the car, but it looks like I'm going to have to do a bit of work on the car. Okay, right ho. I'll bring you back when I start the job. Hello. You can hear the sound of tinkling water. I'm draining the water out the engine. I've taken the temp sensor out. I've taken the hose off, and I've just gone around and just cracked the nuts loose. And very interestingly, this one here were not tight, and that one there was not tight. In other words, this gasket has squashed and taken the tension off the bolts. The others were all nice and tight. So this was imminently going to fail. So I've taken the tightness off them, and I'll just use my impact wrench now just to whiz them out. Oh, there's still water there, look. I never thought of that. Because this thing has stopped dripping. I was going to put the bolts in that pan. Just coincidence that I happened to put the pan under there. That's fair. It does look like it needs a lot of, it needs some antifreeze in it. A little bit looser than I expected. There's an O-ring around the stud. See that, look? Can you see? here. This is where that's come out from. These, I would say, in my opinion, that these are the worst gaskets I've ever come across. I mean, that is absolutely rubbish. Look at this. And it takes the tension off the bolts. Best gasket 515. Load of rubbish. Okay, I need to find my other gaskets now. I hope I've got one. I'm pretty sure I've got one. I'd say, I'm not a gambling man or anything, but I'd say that cylinder there has had some water in it. By the fact that this is burnt clean here, and these valves are clean, and possibly a bit on this one as well. But that's where we could see along here where the gasket had deteriorated. Not so evident on there. I mean, the engine was still running well, and you can see there where I've blanked a hole. Let's have a quick look at the head. The head looks okay. Yeah, it's interesting that that cylinder there, which is the front one, appears to be burning itself clean. I think that's had water in it, that one. And I'd say this one here as well. Again, this is where the gasket's been failing here. You can see how close everything is to the holes. These are head bolts, I suppose. Yeah, these are water holes. That's a water hole. Yeah, okay, everything doesn't look too bad. I think I skimmed these. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I skimmed these heads. And there's a chamfer on that hole there where the O-ring goes. My gaskets are up there, so I'm going to struggle to get them down, so I'm probably going to have to move the car. Alright, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, I'm back in the garage. This is a Felpro gasket for an 8BA big bore, and I trimmed it off along here using these little snips. It didn't make a very tidy job of it, so if I do the job again I might do it differently. If you use the left hand side gasket, there's a hole here that's very close to the edge and could possibly leak, so it kind of goes around there like that, but I've put it away now so you can't see it. So I'm using the right hand side gasket and trim the edge off, and I would imagine it's upside down as well, thinking about it, but I don't think it's hypercritical. Lots of gaskets can go on either way up. I'm not going to do anything fancy to seal it. I'm just going to put a bit of Vaseline on everything. I might just get some brake clean and clean this surface with a block. Maybe clean it with a block and some wet and dry, something like that. These are the pieces that I cut off the end of the gasket, and you can see that this has a metal inner piece. The best gasket just had plastic. It was utter rubbish by comparison, and that's what failed. Let's try and find a piece. Hang on. There's the substrate from the You can see it just got nothing in it at all. No good at all. Useless. And you can see it's coming out all along here, look. Look at it. Absolute. I'm using rubbish as a polite word. So as you can see, that is a far more substantial, robust material. Okay, right, that's going in the scrap. Best leave it alone, I think, is what it is. Crap. I'll give this a clean, and I'll give that a clean, and put it back together. Hello. Right, I just took my electric drill with a wire wheel on it. I didn't use the angle grinder because it's a bit aggressive. And I've cleaned these up. Just give them a clean up, give them the face a clean up, and around the area generally. Just clean the tops of the pistons. There's some signs here of something. Maybe there's been water sitting there. I'm just not sure. It could just be my not very good honing technique. You can see the stripes there. I think I had like chatter on the hone. Again, this is a home board engine. Still, it does run. You know, it's probably far from peak efficiency, but you know, it's got big cubes, so yeah, I've cleaned this one as well. I just want to go over that with a vacuum, save knocking all the dirt, all the carbon everywhere. I'll get ready to start putting this back together. Okay, I'll bring it back when there's more to show. Yeah, what you can see here, for anybody not that familiar, this is a 3 3/8 bore, which is 3/16 oversize. Standard bore is 3 3/16. This is 3 3/8. And what you can see here is 1.6 inch inlets and 1.5 inch exhausts. Okay, righto. Let's get this back together then so the vehicle's drivable. Hello, I've given the block face a very light rub with a bit of Vaseline, just on my fingertips, just rubbing it on like that. Put the gasket on. The cut piece is there, and I put the little O-ring on, which is good because it helped me to locate the gasket. I pushed the gasket up very slightly, and it's now located. That's the max bore that gasket will accommodate. You can look down the hole and, you know, see the stud. Line it up with the stud. Some of the bolts have some corrosion on them, so I'm going to take them all and clean them on the wire wheel, and then I'll put some grease on there and some sealant on there and put them all in. Okay, back in a bit. Hello. I've put grease on the shanks of all the bolts. I'm just going to put a bit of sealant on them. Hylamar blue. It's been said thousands of times, but you'll notice I didn't actually do anything with the threads in the block. Didn't run a tap through them or anything. You got to be careful about not opening them up. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, so that's bolted down and just rattled up. I will probably go and revisit my video where I built this engine and look to see what torque figure I used. It's worth noting that these are a coarse thread and that's a fine thread, so in theory you want slightly less torque on that to match the clamping force that you generate on these. So I think it's something like 50 on there and 55 on these. Not sure. Could be 55 there and 60 on them, I'm not sure. Okay, I'll bring you back when I've worked out what I want to do. Back in a bit. I checked my video and I did this one to 45 and all the others to 50. But in the back of my mind I have an idea that I later bumped them all up by 5. So I'm going to go to 50 on this one and 55 on the others. This is a very expensive torque wrench. I'm going to set this to 50, 40, 50. So that's set to 50. Yep, that's set to 50. But I prefer to use this torque wrench because it's got a ratchet. So what I do, I connect them together. So if I put this here, can you see what's going on? So if I press down on this one, that's clicking first. So I'll tighten it up. Okay, let me loosen it off again. This one clicked. A little bit more. It clicked again. A little bit more. It clicked again. A little bit more. No, that went then. They went at the same time in effect. Oh, tiny bit more. There. So I'm quite happy that this is, you know, as close to 50 as I'm going to get. And I've got these long things on here so that I can stand away from the engine a bit. Actually, I only need to do one up like this, don't I? Oh, having said that, I suppose I should go to an intermediate figure first. Yeah, I'll just wind this off a bit. Ooh. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll set it to, I'll just redo what I just did. Set it to 50. I'll just do that middle one to 50. Okay, and I'll bump it up another 5. So I'll go around everything except the middle now. They all feel like they could go a bit more, but you know, you have to stop, don't you, when you reach the torque that you've decided on. Okay. Okay, good. Don't often use the 1/2 inch stuff. Anyway, okay, so that's on. I'm going to clean this up here. I think I ran it without very much antifreeze in it for a while, and there's a bit of corrosion, you know, rusty water gone round it. I'll redo them once it's done a couple of heat cycles, and yeah, let's get it back together and get it running again. Okay, righto. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Okay, that's that. I'll get some fresh water in it. I'll give it a run, then I'll dump it all out again, and then I'll refill it with antifreeze. I've got to put the plug in this side. Okay, back in a bit. I was going to go for a drive, but I think the roads are rather busy at the moment, so I might just let it run up to temperature here. Doesn't have to be driving, does it? I've done 70 miles since putting my speedo in. Nearly made a bit of a faux pas there. See the water down there, look. When I ran it before, I could see air coming out of here. I can see air coming out of it now. That's just expansion, isn't it, thinking about it? Turn off the fuel pump. It's got an electric primer pump. Funny when you see them running in it and you think, well, that was in bits an hour ago. Okay, well, that's it, isn't it? I'll bring it back if something interesting happens. But for now, I think that's going to have to do. Thanks for joining me in the garage. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye. Okay, it's running. I've had it running about 10 or 15 minutes. There's a lot of air coming out of the pipe. I don't know if that's okay or a bad sign, but it's up to, that's just over 200 degrees on that one, and that one's about 220 degrees. It has got a pressure cap. I don't know if it's on the verge of boiling. Really hot here, you know, with the air blowing through the rack. It isn't bubbling any worse now than it was when it first started. Actually, there aren't that many bubbles. There's only a few. Oh yeah, you can see them there. When it boils, it comes out in a massive, great big whoosh. Yeah, that's, I'd have to look at the film, but that looks about the same, maybe very slightly higher. About 210. That's about 225. I think I might turn the engine off and leave the fan running. Let's turn the motor off. I'm trying to see if that's gone up very slightly or not. Oh, fan will continue to run if I put it on the accessory position. Bear in mind, you know, I've just filled that, so you know, it could quite understandably want to throw some out. I'd say these fans are pretty good, to be honest. It does vibrate a bit though. The one on the coupe vibrates terribly. Ooh. Might as well sit down. Ooh, God. Interesting that that's still bubbling. Well, if you think about it, that's coming out, but it's not compression gases because the engine's not running, is it? I think it's just purging air out of the system, he said, kind of hoping against hope. I'll leave it. I think I can probably turn the fan off now and just leave it now. It is well, it's certainly warmed up, let's say. Okay, right. I'll turn the camera off and I'll bring it back when there's more to show, if there's any more to show. I might try and go out for a run later this evening. I have got a washer on there, so it will recover the water. Alright, Meg, good girl. I think it's dying down. Okay, I'll turn the fan off now. I've just popped back out about 25 minutes later and all the water's gone back in. So that's alright, isn't it? That's empty, that bottle. Okay, so yeah, I feel confident that that's okay. Well, sort of confident. So I'll give it a run and see how it performs when it's out on the road. Okay, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. I'll bring you back if something interesting happens. But for now, I think that's going to have to do. Thanks for joining me in the garage. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye.